Greetings and salutations to you. It's another edition of The Case for Antioch. This week, we will focus in on the entrepreneurial spirit. What does it mean for a church to develop entrepreneurs? And the entrepreneurial spirit, how is it mandated in the disciple making process? So stay tuned, ma'am and sir, boy and girl. It's a case for Antioch. Let's get ready to have a conversation with Cornelius.
Welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius. Today, you will be engaged, entertained, and educated. Stay tuned. You are about to be CC'd. It is Conversations with Cornelius.
Oh, wow. The 21st century church. Oh, my God. Reflecting the Antioch model would be a vibrant, adaptive, and externally focused entity. Vibrant, adaptive, externally focused entity. It would see its role not just as a sanctuary for worship, but as a spiritual innovation and sending hub. It would measure its success not by Sunday attendance, but by the number of disciples it sends into the world's spheres of influence. Sending disciples into the world's spheres of influence. The problems the members solve, too, and the tangible flourishing it brings to the city under the guiding hand of the Holy Spirit. Three things. Uno, dos, tres. It sends into the world's spheres of influence, the problems it solves, and the tangible flourishing that it brings into the city under the mighty hand of God. Those three things. How does that manifest in the spirit of entrepreneurialism? That's a deep one for me, y'all. And I'm going to spend some time with that because the dollar should not dictate the conversation in church. Discipleship making should. I'll say it again. The dollar should not dictate the conversation. Discipleship should. Discipleship should. So how do we juggle this entrepreneurial spirit? How do we make sure we meet these tangible results? We're sending people, we're solving problems. And I've learned this in the marketplace. Anytime you begin to solve problems, there's going to be a reward for it. Anytime you solve a problem, there's going to be a reward for it. Anytime you solve a problem, there's going to be a reward for it. Dentists solve teeth problems. They get rewarded. Psychiatrists and psychologists solve mind problems. They get rewarded for it. The eye doctor, ophthalmologist, solves eye problems. They get rewarded for it. So anytime you solve a problem in the marketplace, it comes with a reward. I've never been prosperity driven, but I'm looking at these principles from the Acts church in Antioch and seeing the entrepreneurial spirit emerging again and just putting some context, more context around it for me. And hopefully it puts some context around it for you. So let me just bring out this one point and I'll sit down and we'll talk about it next week. Or you can leave your comments and we can have conversation around it throughout the weeks to come. Point one, how can the 21st century church model the Antioch church? It's not limited to this, but point one, we must begin to integrate spiritual formation with the entrepreneurial action. Integrate spiritual formation with entrepreneurial action. At Antioch, fasting, worship, and listening to the Spirit was directly part of the strategic action. There was no disconnect. Fasting, worshiping, and listening to the Spirit. The 21st century application. How do we integrate spiritual formation with entrepreneurial action? Prayer as a strategy session. Make sure prayer, meetings, and times of worship focus on discerning God's strategy for the community and its needs. Prayer, meetings, and times and worship should be focusing on discerning God's strategy for the community and its needs. That's how we integrate spiritual formation into entrepreneurial action. Just that one, y'all. Let's have a conversation around this. I pray that you engage with me as we embark upon a journey to make sure that the first century church and the 21st century church have some connectivity and connections that leave a lasting impact. It's Conversations with Cornelius. I'm your host, Cornelius. Peace and blessings.